Okay, so I obviously lost a whole lot of weight. Here I basically want to talk about what it is that I did to be able to eat whatever I wanted whilst I was losing the weight, because I dropped roughly around 20 kilograms of weight and I was able to eat what I wanted when I wanted. Okay, so the first point is all about the timing of the meals. I would eat breakfast between 7 to 8 a.m. in the morning, every single morning, and then in the evening I would have dinner around 5 to 6. So I would keep my breakfast early and my dinners really early as well. That would give me time to basically fast and be able to actually digest my food, and this basically allowed me to be able to eat much bigger portions as well, which was always nice. And then off the back of this, but not necessarily related to timing, but I guess we can say the second point is I would basically only eat 2 meals a day. So this meant that I was only eating breakfast and dinner and skipping lunch pretty much every time. And I would do this because I have never really seen the point in actually having lunch in between your meals, and then B, I also just never really got that hungry, and I feel like eating when you're not hungry is just gluttony at that point, so I would basically just avoid the meal altogether. But to replace it, I would eat snacks. So like, this is part of what I mean when I say I would eat what I wanted. I have quite a big sweet tooth, so I would usually just snack on sweets, cookies, cakes, whatever it was I was feeling at the time, and I had that pretty much the entire time that I was losing weight and up till now as well, to be honest. One thing with this is that I really wanted to avoid getting any like eating issues from my weight loss journey, and so that's why I tried to basically make sure that I was able to take what I wanted as I wanted and just stick to what works for me. Okay, so I have kind of already mentioned this, but my third point is basically that I would stop eating when I was full. Now this sounds really obvious, but I think especially in African households it can be kind of tempting to push yourself to finish your food. I've never really done that. I think when I'm done, I'm done. But I was just consciously doing it even more, so I would just take food away when I was at restaurants and I couldn't finish it, or if I was at home and I couldn't finish a meal, then I would just pack it and combine it with the next day's meal and things like that. So I basically just avoid overeating when I could, and of course it didn't mean that I wasn't hungry later. I would just eat snacks later on, so sticking to what your stomach tells you basically. Okay, so then my fourth thing is also something that I've kind of already mentioned again, but this is basically focused on me being a really big snacker. So instead of having meals, like 3 meals a day, I would just have the snacks keeping me going throughout the day, and this would be anything from like super sweet snacks to like some like savory things. Sometimes it would be fruit, I'm not gonna lie, but I wouldn't say that like fruit was my standard in eating. I would definitely say it's more like snacks and sweet things. So yeah, I think having light snacks in between when you're feeling a little bit peckish is always a good balance. I don't actually know if it's better to eat snacks or to eat lunch. I feel like if you're eating a healthy lunch, then probably better to eat lunch, but for me anyway, this is just what works quite well. Okay, so then my fifth tip is the one that I die by and I tell everyone to do, which is drinking green tea. Now green tea has a lot of health benefits, but mainly for me when I was taking it was to help with my metabolism and also just help with my digestion of food. So green tea I would have after breakfast, after every like heavy-ish snack I would say, and then after dinner as well. So basically any time that I was eating I would be taking green tea, and this helped me quite a lot. I think my metabolism definitely improved thanks to green tea, and I do drink it up until now. It's like very much my brand, if you want to call it that, to drink green tea, so that's a really big recommendation for me, and it's very affordable. You can have different brands, you can also have it flavored if you don't really like bitter things. It's also quite good to take it with honey as well, so there's a range of different ways that you can take it, and I would recommend putting green tea to the top of your list if you're going to take anything away from this video. Okay, so my sixth point would actually be focusing on your sleep. So I prioritize sleep quite a lot, and I basically aim to get between 7 to 7.5 hours of sleep, sometimes even 8 hours, and I found that if I don't do this and I don't really regulate or do well during the day, or I just get really cranky. But sleep helps also with actually being able to have your body repair and digest as well, and so it's very important that you prioritize your sleeping hours. I think also just adding on top of that, being able to sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time in the morning is also really important. So like for me that would be like 5 a.m. wake up and then 10:30 latest to sleep. This obviously varies person by person, but the point is basically to make sure that you wake up every morning same time and you sleep every evening same time. And it's also worth noting that poor sleep can actually increase your cravings, so bear that in mind as well. And my seventh and last point is basically to focus on mindless movement. What I mean by that is instead of taking an Uber or a bus, just walk. Instead of taking the escalators, take the stairs. Anything that just gets you doing like really mindless steps, because that burns off more as well obviously, and it helps you to kind of exercise without thinking about it. And it's also just nice, especially when the weather's nice like it is right now. Walking makes way more sense than taking the tube, for example. So that's everything from me, and I really hope this helps you on your weight loss journey. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.